The deadline to vacate the Philly homeless encampment has passed, and Amazon is moving into the King of Prussia Mall. We'll chat about it all next on Toole Time. I'm Tom Toole. She is Jess Lion, and we've got some juicy local topics here to talk about this week on the show. And the first one, I mean, this is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia homeless encampment. So if you don't know, in the city of Philadelphia, if you're not local, there's basically a big green space that goes right up to the art museum. They call it the Parkway. And there has been a homeless encampment there. I think it's been like 6 months now. And it's the third deadline that has passed for them to vacate, and it doesn't look like it's happening anytime soon. So what do you think about all this?
It was so elusive to me because I didn't know where or what they were talking about when they were talking about this homeless encampment. Because I would sometimes drive through Kensington because I lived up in Fishtown at one point, and I would see the homeless encampments under the bridges around there. There was a few of them. And I didn't know what they were talking about, but then I ran past it the other day by the art museum, and it is huge. It's taking up all of the greenery along there, and that's a place where there usually is a lot of tourists, a lot of traffic. There's a lot going on in that specific area. So I saw it, and I was kind of shocked that this was even allowed to take place here. How did that even evolve and start where one was I'm setting up camp, and then it kept on coming. So it's sad to me. I wish there was a way to, at the same time, help these people, but at the same time, get them out of here. Because that's the problem. How do you help these homeless people? But there are needles on the floor around there, and there's tons of trash and littering, and houses around there are super expensive, and there's a lot of culture around there. You want to go to the museums, you want to go to the basilica, you want to go to everything around there. So, I don't know. It's kind of you have to help them, but at the same time, you want them out of there.
Well, I mean, this is going on all over the country. I mean, there's the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone in Seattle, the Chaz Zone. I mean, that's been pretty crazy, and police won't even go in there now. Portland is a nightmare. Portland, Oregon. I mean, there's people just getting shot in the streets. I mean,
so I shouldn't go.
Shouldn't go to Portland. I mean, I this is not the time to go there.
Would
be my view. So I mean, there's just a lot of crazy stuff happening right now. And what's unfortunate about this is you're right. It's an outdoor space. People go walk, they go, they go enjoy the outdoors there because it's one of the nice green spaces in the city that's pretty close to the center of town. And now there's a homeless encampment. And what a lot of the protesters are talking about is they're gathering supplies in case force is used. This has the potential to really blow up.
Right.
And this is the third deadline that's passed. And the Mayor Kenny said a couple times, hey, we're not going to allow this. But then when they don't move out, and now they have metal fencing, wood pallets. There's a tree branch across 22nd and the outer lane of the Parkway. I mean, this is getting pretty wild. And unfortunately, this is happening in a lot of places. I think we've been lucky in Philadelphia. There was definitely riots and stuff like that. I know you saw it firsthand down where you live. I think we're fortunate it hasn't been as bad as other places. But this is a problem across the country right now. I don't know how it's going to get fixed. I mean, they're talking about using force, and these people don't want to move to shelters. They don't think the shelters are safe. So it's problematic.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's at the point where a lot of these people are screaming for help, and there needs to be some kind of solution. The homeless shelters just can't be the way. But at the same time, you have to kind of help yourself, too. There's only so much that one can do for another,
I think you said, there's people that live around there that they have families, right? And they have all this stuff. There's naked people, and there's drug paraphernalia, and there's problems. And this kind of reminds me when they had Occupy Wall Street and all that stuff. And there was a lot of crimes getting committed in these camps, and that's the issue that I'm seeing. And it's stuff it's crazy stuff. People are getting beat up, they're getting raped. This is not a safe thing. And I don't know what the city's trying to use every tool they have. They came out with a statement, and they're basically saying their last resort is removal by force, and people are advised to stay away of a part of the city that a lot of people want to enjoy, and especially now in the middle of a pandemic where you basically can go outside, and that's it. This is a whole part of the city you can't even do it. You got all the running trails on Kelly Drive and all that. That's really close to there. So there's things that I mean, it's affecting life in a lot of ways.
It's not lost on me that there's like a bigger problem though. Like I know I want to go and run there and not see some trash or a naked person or a homeless person. Like what like privilege, right? Like I know that there is the bigger problem of like a solution to like the drug abuse and homelessness and not being spaces for them. So I think that there's a lot on the mayor's plate.
Yeah, I mean, this
Right
isn't
now.
an easy fix. I mean, what I'm grateful for is that we haven't had some of the things that have happened in like the Northwest, especially like Seattle and Portland, like that Chaz zone in Seattle. I mean, there's been the businesses are getting destroyed. The police won't even go in there now. I mean, because it's so unsafe. They've declared it like a martial law area. Portland is super freaking dangerous right now. I mean, there was some video that came out on Twitter after a rally. Like someone literally went up to him and they just shot him. I mean, it's not safe, and so I mean, I guess. In one way, we're lucky, but there has to be a better solution here, and I don't know what to really do. I mean, that's the problem. But I mean, no one's really talking about this, and it's
bigger. Yeah, I didn't really like know about it until I ran by it the other day. I think it needs to be like a bigger headline.
Well, I mean, you watch the local news, and they talk about like all like the murders that happen in the city.
I can't watch the local news. I'll get depressed.
Yeah, and I mean that's really it. Like it's so. I mean, there's got to be some sort of. This kind of reminds me of The Wire. If you ever saw The Wire, where they at one point they like legalized like you could do like heroin in this zone in Baltimore, and Kensington's already done that, right? Like I mean, if there's not going to be a solution here, they need to figure out how to get these people somewhere safe, and safe for the residents and safe for them, where it's not a homeless shelter, because I'm sure people said those are dangerous too, and it's a problem the city's got to deal with. I mean, it's really what's going to happen, and there needs to be some sort of federal funding, some sort of local funding, something. I mean, Philadelphia's broke, which is like another problem because they have the highest delinquent tax rate in the country with commercial taxes. So until something like that happens, man, I don't know what the solution's going to be. One thing, I mean, I think when it gets cold, you're going to see this kind of shut down a little bit. I mean, there's that because that's coming. So maybe that's a temporary solution to get this cleared. Yeah, right? Game of Thrones. So maybe that's
not to end on a joke, but winter is coming.
That may be a short-term solution here too, but it's bad. It's bad right now.
I know. It is. All right. What's next?
So from a real estate side, this came out a couple weeks ago. The King of Prussia Mall owner, Simon Property Group, they are looking to repurpose JCPenney and Sears with an Amazon fulfillment center. What do you think about all this?
I think this is a fantastic real estate move for Simon Malls because retail, I feel like, is going out the window. I feel like Springfield Mall's dead. Granite Run actually died.
Yeah, it's shut down already.
Yeah, so I feel like King of Prussia Mall is the only one that's like still holding on, and like portions of the mall are actually like not filled up. So, I mean, I feel like Amazon's just going to take over everything. So it makes sense that they're going to go in there and take up like a JCPenney, the larger stores, and they can afford the rent. Rent there's insane.
Well, and what the King of Prussia Mall was doing before was, I mean, they've been talking about shutting down malls for a long time. Like the concept's antiquated. Most people just get on Amazon, they get stuff shipped to their house, they return it, whatever. That was going to be one of those destination malls. There was going to be like 20 of them in the country. King of Prussia was one of them, like Mall of America, where they've had so many restaurants they put in there. Mm-hmm. People go shop, they want that retail experience, but it's more than that. And now this has just accelerated it. And commercial real estate, I mean, it's in a tough spot right now. And people aren't going to, like Sears and JCPenney, their online sales. I mean, Macy's shut down tons of locations years ago.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same sort of company. So it makes sense for them. I agree. They're getting someone in there that's actually going to use the space. I'm sure Amazon's not paying the same rent as JCPenney and Sears were. I mean, is my guess. And it's going to streamline what people want right now. And that's what you got to look at what the customer wants. Like, people don't want to leave their house to shop anymore. Like, I mean, I think it's a pain in the butt going to the mall. I mean, it's out of the way. You got to deal with traffic. Getting in and out of the King of Prussia Mall is horrible.
It's not fun. It's actually the worst.
And, like, the town center has done well because they have, like, a Wegmans there. Mm-hmm. They have some restaurants there. They have other stuff that people are attracted to.
They made it a destination.
Yeah,
and thing you go do.
Well, and if you look right by where, not where JCPenney's and Sears are, but like by the entrance where like Neiman Marcus is and Macy's is, they have like 5 new restaurants that are in there, and like they have outdoor seating and some other stuff. So, and they're talking about running the train line out there. So. This is the only way that mall's going to stay in business, and that's if that mall went out of business and got shut down, that would really hurt the residents of Upper Merion Township because their taxes would go up tremendously. Yeah. Because if you look at Upper Merion Township compared to other places, their tax base is so much lower. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a big onus on a lot of people, and we've talked about reassessments in Delaware County and Philadelphia. So, for the people that live there, my hope is that'll continue. I mean, that'll certainly relieve the tax base, which is pretty important.
I feel like they're just developing so much real estate out there. That's all they're ever doing.
Mm-hmm.
They have that whole town center.
Well, they have the new construction that Toll Brothers is doing there. I mean, so I mean, people want to be able to like walk to stuff, and I think that's
Created this whole little
it's changed
area.
a lot, yeah. And I think people really, I mean, now that we can go to restaurants again, I guess. Like I don't even know, but I think it's like 50% capacity. I think there's going to be more of that happening. So it makes a lot of sense for the Simon Property Group. I think it's a smart move. Otherwise, like those companies, like these companies are going to start going bankrupt. These big retail companies, because people don't want that anymore.
Yeah. Alrighty, I have some
what do you got?
Wisdom for us.
Wisdom, all right.
I guess Maya Angelou. We used her before, but this is a different quote.
Poet laureate.
Civil rights activist, amazing. I got it off Instagram. So
I wonder if it's real. We'll have to authenticate this after the show.
Oh yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm sure
do
it's
the
fine.
best you can until you know better. Then when you do know better, do better.
Well, I mean, Maya Angelou obviously a very wise person, and she says it a lot more poetically than most people. That's why she was the poet laureate. So, I think you can obviously like work hard, and then you have to like learn, right? Like there's a growth mindset. So if you're not learning like how you can do better, then you're only going to be able to do as good as you can with the knowledge you have, the skills you have, and what you know. And then if you learn more, then okay, now I can do this differently, or I can be a better person, or be a better spouse or brother or whatever. So makes a lot of sense. I mean, to me, when you hear that, I think of the person that like they're early in their relationship, or they're early in their career, or they're just younger, and then okay, I mean, I think of my kids, right? Like they only know certain things, and they kind of figure it out, and then they try to be better people and learn different things. So it makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. When I hear this, to me, it's talking about like do the best you can with, I'm going to butcher it, but like what you have or what you know.
Yeah.
That 100%. And also it's saying to me, like, don't be so hard on yourself. You're only doing the best you can with like
100%.
what you have been taught so far. But when you do know better, evolve, change, grow, and then you will eventually get better.
Well, and that's like all people can really do. Like no one's ever going to be perfect. Anyone that thinks they are, like they're wrong. Like
I think the obsession of being perfect actually will do you.
Yeah, I mean, well,
worse.
yeah, you think you can't do anything wrong, or you think you know better than everyone else, and what ends up happening is you're not willing to learn new things.
Yeah.
And the mark of someone that's going to be successful is people that are open to growing, open to learning, don't want to be the smartest person in the room. Mm-hmm. And I'd rather be in a room where I'm like an idiot compared to everybody else, and I can learn some stuff and then figure it out from there. So I think that's a really good observation on your part, and that's what I like about the quote is that true knowledge comes from like learning and growing, not from thinking you know everything or you're better than everybody else, because there's always going to be someone that's better than you.
Amen, sister. Maya.
Apparently I'm a sister now.
Maya.
Catch you guys next week. Thanks.